Ladies and gentlemen, John Brewer, Superintendent, RCMP.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I wrote a speech, but Chief Craig gave it away. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the planet, I hazard to say Canadians, because what does that mean? I am a First Nations person from the Lower Smilkameen Indian Band. I'm a member of the Okanagan Nation. I'm a member of the RCMP, and I stand before you as a member of the RCMP to tell you loud and clear that I represent, as a police officer, as a peace officer, the guarantee, the solemn oath that I am here to protect your rights as a human, as a member of this planet, and as a citizen of Canada. Whether you were born here, whether you came here, or whether you took the oath. That is my creed. That is my promise. Thank you. In my culture, we have a saying, and every culture has a version of this, and that is, we have come miles and we have miles to go. I paraphrase. Okay. My grandfather, Chief Adam Dick, whose traditional name is Coxie, which means the smoke from his big house fire will encircle the world. He's a traditionally trained potlatch speaker. He took me aside when I joined the RCMP and told me that I now have a duty not just to my peoples, to my family, I have a duty to everybody in this country, regardless of who they are or how they came here. And that was an oath that I took with him on the side of a river that to me was as important as any oath I took in Saskatchewan at Depot Division when I graduated on a Bible. And I say that because in a very short time in my life, I'm a young 50-ish, and I tell you that just recently we had the new commanding officer of the RCMP in British Columbia, Deputy Commissioner Butterworth Carr, is an Indigenous female. Just think in our time. In my time, we went from where my great uncle joined the army, fought in the war, and he voted during the war. When he got out of the army, he lost his right to vote. Right? I knew that gentleman. In my lifetime, I shared that experience with him, through him. In my lifetime now, I can say an Indigenous female is now the commanding officer of all the police in British Columbia. To me, that's a fantastic thing. The RCMP is committed to preserve the peace, uphold the law, and provide quality service in partnership with the communities. In partnership with the communities. Sir Robert Peel, who's considered the father of modern policing, once said in his basic tenets, the police are the public, and the public are the police. Now think of that. The police are not special, they're not separate, they're not better. They are the public, and the public are the police. The police are just mere paid servants to enforce the law. And I tell you that because in my mind, that's significant, is that it's not that I work for the public as a police officer, of course I do, but my job is to be vigilant, to ensure that every one of you, regardless of where you come from, whatever your religion is, whatever your race is, color, it'll make no difference to me. And I can tell you, and I speak for other police officers, that when we go to files, when we go to investigations, we don't see these things. We see the law, and our role is to enforce the law with impartiality. That is our role. Now, I have served in countries outside of Canada as a police officer, and I can tell you that when you see societies, communities that don't have that right, where people risk their lives, their very being, to try to achieve that we have every day. And I stand here to tell you that my role will never change. The role of the RCMP, the role of police officers in this country, barring mistakes, we're humans, mistakes happen, bad apples come in, we admit that. And our job is to deal with that internally and be vigilant with that. But when you see people fighting, giving up their lives, sacrificing families, property, to have the rights that we take for granted. When you come back to this country, for me anyway, I grasped onto that and I drank it in, because the freedoms that we have are so important. And remember that. The police are the public are the police. We all must be vigilant, regardless of where we came from or how long we've been here. The core values of the RCMP are simple. They're honesty, integrity, compassion, respect, accountability, and professionalism. Those 6 words are drilled into a member of the RCMP from the day they show up at the training academy in Regina. Or, I'm standing here in front of an ex-sergeant major, so I've got to be careful here. The swing and arm ranch, we call it. All right? Those 6 words we take very seriously. They're not words to us, they're our creed. And I will leave you with this, because I promised I'd be short. I took an oath to lay down my life as a peace officer to ensure that each and every one of you have the right, without discrimination, to practice your religion, to have a safe home and a safe community in this great country we call Canada. It's an oath I take serious. Every police officer I've ever met takes that serious. And so I will tell you, standing before this diverse crowd, and as the member responsible for bringing Muslim outreach through E-Division, I tell you, I swear that again in front of you. On behalf of my fellow police officers that work with us, we will do that. We will ensure without discrimination the law will be enforced equally to ensure that you maintain your rights well as long as you're in this country. Thank you.